This episode, we are discussing Émilie du Châtelet, the dreamiest of 18th century scientists and philosophers, who argues that illusions are an instrumental part of the good life. Let's discuss on From What We've Gathered with Danny Nelson and Kylie Shahar.
In the land of teeter totters, I prefer a slide. Turbulent or gentle waters, let's go for a ride.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Kylie.
Okay, so today we're going to be thinking about the question of, well-being and happiness from what Émilie du Châtelet has to offer. And from her works, one crucial and even necessary component of happiness is illusions.
Yes.
So we need, or in other words, illusions play a crucial role or a necessary role in promoting happiness and,
A
through
flourishing
pleasure.
life. Yeah. If you're going to have a good life,
Turns out
you need to
some
be able to
illusions.
have some illusions in there.
And it sounds a little bit, maybe like disingenuous, or it sounds like scary, or
like a lot of people would
lying.
immediately be like, yeah, why would you want to live in a lie?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not quite the direction
scenario that she's talking about. So the one of the examples that we might use a modern day of an illusion that she would say, like, it's better to experience the illusion than not to, even if the illusion is going to be broken. So one of those is Santa Claus.
This is our
I think.
example,
This
by
is
the way,
our
not
example, not
du Châtelet's.
Yeah, Émilie du Châtelet in like 1706 was not like, oh, Santa Claus,
Papa Noel. Yeah,
yeah, Papa. Yeah, I wonder with the French, because I don't know when Saint Nicholas worked his way over. Anyway,
We digress.
in modern times, we grow up with most people. Kylie, did you have Santa
Not
Claus?
really. I don't know.
Kylie didn't have a childhood. She just essentially did ninja karate stuff and then came out an academic, a PhD in philosophy. That's
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. Most kids and even adults who don't want to lie to their kids, right? Like there's a lot of these adults, especially these days, that are like, I never tell my kid a lie. But this kind of the almost first questions to people when they're like, oh, so you're not going to let your kid have Santa Claus?
Right.
And that's because when you think about being a kid and knowing with your whole being that Santa Claus is real, this illusion is so joyous and so magical that it's worth the fib. It's worth this illusion that even when it's broken, I would never trade the time that I believed that Santa Claus existed. Like, even when I was mad at my family, because first I discovered the Easter Bunny didn't exist.
Oh, that was the first.
And within 15 seconds of realizing the Easter Bunny wasn't a thing,
you
my
inferred.
mind was like, wait,
Smart kid.
if there's no Easter Bunny, then all of this is a lie.
Tooth fairy.
And I
forget
was
about
like,
it.
I'll rip all these teeth out for dollar bills. If that's all just my parents paying me for teeth, I'm just kidding. But Santa Claus, but then even beyond Santa Claus. So that's like a example of like most people can be like, yeah, that's a fun illusion to have. It doesn't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
No one's being hurt by it.
Right.
It's not cruel to anyone except for, I guess, the people who don't get Santa.
And it just deepens your pleasure of the experience of Christmas, right? It's just something that enhances the joy through an illusion.
Yep.
That even once, fifth grade rolls around and all the chatter in the schoolyard is like, Santa's not real or whatever it is. And then you finally discover this. Maybe as a child, you're like a little bit bummed or crushed, but you recover as one does. And then you still hold on to, in some ways, that illusion, right? We talk about Santa.
Yep.
You carry it on for other people for whom the illusion has not.
There's still some pleasure in just seeing him represented. There's
Right.
this magic kind of like quality and warmth
Right.
that is like towards this character
Exactly.
that doesn't exist. It is a fictional character.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry. If
you
this
are
is for the first time, we should have had a lot of warnings and
like at the
alerts.
beginning of this
Like,
episode.
don't play this. Oh, don't play this in the car with your children.
Don't play
This is
this
too
in the car with Buddy the Elf. If Buddy the Elf is with you, don't play this. He knows him, like, so another way that we might talk about illusions that are kind of like, they could potentially better your life. So one of those things might be through adolescence when you have this dream of what you're going to be when you grow up. So like that might be like, oh, I'm going to be a sports star because you have this mind, like in your school, you're the greatest soccer player that's ever been at your school and you're just amazing. But in reality, you're one of hundreds of thousands of really great high school
kids,
soccer players.
Absolutely.
And that illusion of that being your career can narrow over time. It just gets narrower and narrower and narrower.
Right.
Until the illusion pops. But again, that illusion might perpetuate you into a full career.
Right.
Of being a sports star. Because you're under the illusion that you are the best.
Right.
Whether you are or not. But some of that 100,000 people do have to be the best.
Right.
It might be you.
Yeah.
As Russell Wilson used to say, why not me?
Oh, that's a good.
That's
a good one.
It might as well be. If it's someone, it might as well be me.
Totally.
So like, but it's not just, I'm using sports as an example, but what did you think you were going to be? Like,
What did I think I was going to be?
An artist?
An artist. Oh, yeah. This is,
And what was your reality check? You told me.
Well, yeah. Well, even when I was a kid, it's not like anybody told me this, but you start making observations about the world and you're like, oh, our artist, that doesn't pay the bills. Like my...
like I just imagining like little 10-year-old
like
guy.
Yeah.
You're 7. You're like, I gotta worry about these paychecks. I don't know when they're gonna be rolling in. I can't just be finger painting my whole life. Because your dad also does art.
Yeah,
he's
too. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a painter. I mean, he does other things, but painter, and I mean, he's just really artistic.
Yeah, and
person.
You're like, that's not how the bills get paid.
That's not how I observed. That's not how the bills get paid. But yeah, but it's like, it's this sort of like illusion that, I mean, it's beautiful to live in that as a kid where like the possibilities really truly are endless. And then you have, I mean, this veil to reality in some way.
Yep.
I mean, in a lot of ways, like you really don't know what, at 7, what bills are, what, health insurance,
Absolutely.
Like you're oblivious in some ways to the reality of the world and can have this sort of endless, limitless, I'm going to be an astronaut, I'm going to be a firefighter. It's like, it turns out these things are like really hard to do.
Yep.
And statistically, it's not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen. Yeah. The half of your class that thought they were going to be cowboys. It just isn't.
I'd love to check in. How's it going?
How's your cowboy life? But again, these don't harm anyone.
Exactly.
It brings you joy to like receive gifts that are like art related.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it didn't take away from your
Right.
childhood or adolescence to become good at these things or
Exactly.
to seek out what it might look like to follow these paths.
Yeah.
So these are great examples of illusions where you lived inside of this in a joyous way that didn't detract from where your life actually
Totally.
started going. And, as you get older, whether it's education, whether it's child rearing, whether it's you did enough drugs to come to reality. Is that drugs are for coming to reality?
I think
right?
so. That's what they say. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
like
think that's what
peer
the DARE
behind
program.
the curtain.
I dare you
Yeah, I
to
dare-
go and do some drugs so you can see reality.
Nancy Reagan is just like
but I want to. So so Émilie du Châtelet, like the way that she's coming at illusions is that there's a healthy way to have them.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I want to tell you who this lady is.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So she
remarkable.
Oh my God. Learning about her I don't know if you guys have figured this out yet, but every time Kylie talks about a female philosopher that existed between 1500 and 1900, she like lights up her whole being and also gets very passionate about them being ignored, or like overlooked, like wait until you see this lady.
Just wait.
And I am telling you, as much as I fangirled out over Montaigne, I'm like,
Step
nothing.
aside.
Yeah, step aside.
Move your troubadour. Get out of the way.
Fall off your horse again, guy, because we got a lady coming through.
Yeah.
This woman, she's born in the early 1700s. Her dad is in King Louis XIV's court, which is notoriously one of the fanciest, most like kind of like bejeweled courts ever. And he is like the manners person, like he's in charge of manners.
That's a crazy title.
It's such a weird thing to be in charge of, but like apparently very powerful within the court, and was also somehow royalty or whatever. Like it wasn't just some dude off the street that was like, oh, you're very mannerly, like let's go. Like he was some sort of like, part of the system. And he immediately sees that like Emily is like very, very smart. And so in a time period where most of the women can't even read, like no one bothers to get them tutors, they are to look nice and be marriageable. That's their job. He gets her all of these fancy tutors. She's very smart. One of the things that he includes within her like tutelage, because I guess she was kind of clumsy, is she learns fencing. So she has a like she's all that moment as a teen. Amazing. Where someone takes off her glasses and all of a sudden she's like a
prom queen,
a beauty of the court. Yeah. And she is not interested in being like turned from being like this like nerd. She's like, no, I'm like nerd time brainiac. Yeah. I don't need all of this attention. So she, in order to not have to get married, challenges the head of the guard, because the royal guard, who knows why, she challenges the head of the royal guard in public to fence with her.
Amazing.
They end up calling a draw. She doesn't lose. They end up calling a draw. Probably because the guy was like, am I allowed to stab?
Yeah.
It's like this court lady
wrong. I mean, her dad is like the manners coach.
Yeah, but luckily what it did what she wanted, which it drove away all of these
potential suitors
because they're like, I just can't handle all this craziness, and she obviously has a lot on her plate if she's going to challenge people to duels, fencing duels and stuff. And she does end up marrying, essentially like he's slightly older. He comes and he's like, hey, I need to get some kids. I see you don't really want to be like in a normal marriage. And like they become very deep friends, and he is like her friend until the end. And spoiler alert, she has a bunch of lovers, and her husband, I don't even remember his name. He's like and he's like fancy. He's like an earl or something. Like it's not like even like some low caste person. It's like someone who's like high up
someone
in the
who's somebody
in the system. I keep calling it.
System. I know. I do love
the French system. The French system. But in court and stuff, and he loves her until the end. But he is not the lover we know of. And part of that was that he thought she was so freaking brilliant. So not only is she like fencing everybody, she ends up being one of the most brilliant scientific minds in the 18th century. She's the first woman to ever be have a scientific paper published. She becomes super famous because she writes a paper with Voltaire about Newton, where Newton, Isaac Newton, for those of you guys who may not be familiar, physicist, may have not only gravity, but also the theory of everything, which is, of energy, like that it cannot be created and destroyed, only changed, like very important idea within physics. And, her and Voltaire worked together to translate his some of his works, and she later in life translates a bunch more of his works. And the thing is Newton wrote in Latin, and essentially what Emily would do even early on, she's like in her 20s, she's reading Latin with her eyeballs, she's speaking French out loud while she's like translating in person, but she would take pauses, like Voltaire state, like this is something he wrote about her. She would take little pauses in the paper, and you would think like, oh, maybe it's a rough translation or whatever. No, she was doing all the mathematics on the page
Unbelievable.
so that when she got to that part of reading, she would be able to summarize the mathematics.
Unreal. Just in
Translating Latin in real time to French.
and computing.
And she just thought Newton was one of the most brilliant physicists in the world, and that it would change the future.
Yeah.
And that was part of the Enlightenment. She was like such a great mind of the Enlightenment because, you know, I talk about science communicators. Like, it's not always the most brilliant physicists that are the greatest at translating. But this lady, one of the things that she had such a great creative aspect to her personality that she was like, not only am I going to translate Newton, but I'm translating him in a way that people can understand why this is important.
Yeah.
Like why this is brilliant.
Yeah, offering commentary and
Yep.
supplemental materials to not only make his works accessible to the French public.
Yep.
Which is no big deal.
No big deal. No
But then
biggie as a
also-
woman.
Yeah, exactly. And whose translation into French is like the one that is still utilized today.
It's still still
like
used.
the staple translation, which is which is unbelievable.
Yeah, and just because we probably won't get back to like biographical kind of information in time, sadly she did die at the age of 43, having a baby. And it was from the time she realized she was pregnant, she somehow knew like that this was going to kill her. Like maybe her last child that she had, maybe the doctor was like, if you ever
do it again,
have a baby again, you're going to die.
Yeah.
But she died very early and we can never know.
Yeah.
But her last months of life were dedicated to translating as much Newton as possible, which is just crazy. And I'm not going to go into it, but real quick, she did, like I said, she was the first woman to ever have a scientific paper published, but also within that paper, she wrote an experiment. She didn't actually do the experiment for a lot of reasons. It's because she didn't want to overshadow Voltaire, but you can get into that yourself. But she, in that paper, she set out an experiment to prove that light does not have mass. So that's what hers like. Some people thought at this time light might have mass. She said, no, it doesn't. Here is an experiment that you can do to prove that. And then 50 years later, a couple did her exact experiment. They just followed exactly the experiment that she thought that she did. And not only did they prove that light doesn't have mass, they discovered infrared light through her experiment.
What? That's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I just don't imagine like 1730
I
them
know.
like having prisms and like measure like
Yeah. I thought that was Pink Floyd. Okay.
oh,
Joke for
I do
two.
wish she was here.
Yeah.
Oh, and I wish she was here. So anyway,
Yeah.
that is, I mean, there's so many things about her. She lived with Voltaire for like 15 years. After she had babies for her husband was like, go forth and be an intellectual, essentially. And they just lived separate lives. She lived on a chateau with Voltaire. They had like plays in their attic. The little stage they built is actually is considered a World Heritage like
wow.
mark, and like
Fascinating.
because it's
yeah.
they just would invite their neighbors
yeah.
over and they would just do plays and sing
Amazing.
songs. I know. I
Well,
want it so
but
bad.
speaking of
Illusions.
plays, yeah, this is like the perfect segue, right? Because sort of we of course touched on illusions and how they're necessary for a flourishing, happy life, and sort of we gave these kinds of contemporary examples of thinking about like Santa Claus and the illusion that you can do anything in this world and so on. But one, Du Châtelet herself sort of brings up the example of plays and the theater as a kind of example for the
Of how
illusions that she has in mind.
Because we brought up these very specific examples, but
Yeah.
in her like dissertation on happiness, this is something that is an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And so the first part that you have to come to, and just, I know you guys at this point, if you've listened to the whole series, Virtue.
Yes.
You have to start with being virtuous.
That is square one.
So you need to have invested in being a
Yes.
just, wise, courageous, temperate person.
Right.
Like if you're like, I love cake, and you're under the illusion that you can eat cake
All day,
every day, and that you will be happy when you get
and
diabetes.
you'll feel good.
And
you
you'll
know,
feel good.
and
That's
yeah.
That's
Right.
a delusion.
Right.
That's not illusion.
Yes.
But so in order for you to have the reason that is necessary to understand these kind of chosen illusions, you need to have already invested time and effort into being a virtuous person.
Right.
But the example that she uses for theater, like to understand what illusion might mean, is for now, going to the theater or watching a movie, you wouldn't be able to enjoy it if every second of the movie or the play, you were like, this is
not
Hugh
real.
Jackman
Yeah.
playing
Yeah.
Barnum.
Jean Valjean.
And and the whole time you're like in this kind of disposition in your mind where you're trying to like take away all the fibs. In order for you to enjoy it as a lesson or just as an entertainment, you have to be able to suspend disbelief. You have to be able to create this illusion
Yeah.
that actor is that person that they're
Right.
playing.
Right.
Like I am watching Macbeth.
Right.
I'm not watching an actor pretending to be, whatever.
Yeah. And like part of what that's doing, I mean, just reflect on what that experience is like watching a film or a play or, something like that, where you have to kind of suspend your disbelief about the that it's not true, that it's all right. I mean, it's all fiction. Provided that it's a fictional thing. And what does that do? Like that kind of engagement with these pieces of art in this way, like deepens your emotional experience and pleasure or sadness, right? Like, I mean, it exerts, these kinds of reactions that can be nice just for cathartic reasons, like emotional release, or sometimes you get something out of it self-reflectively for like your own life. There's like a lesson to be had in some of these things that like seems like it's not impossible to get without, but it certainly deepens the experience and the pleasure that you get from these things when you're able to participate in them through these illusions, the illusion that this is real, or the illusion that this, is
And this is how you create empathy for people you might never be around, right?
Absolutely.
Like they as people who are part of the aristocracy are probably not going to experience like being a peasant without these kind of fictional
absolutely
shows or writings or whatever that allows them to create empathy and see them. So that is one of the ways she talks about illusions that are kind of in an everyday life. And we're talking about theater and stuff, but these illusions can come out of into real life, right? Like when you're the reality of someone being a baker at a bake shop, right? Like you can have this illusion that they love their job, right? Like, and it's just as well to have this illusion with like you get more joy out of your experience of buying their bread when it's like when you're living in this world where people are appreciating. Now it's just as easy for you to be like, they must hate that. It must be so hard. It must be, they must hate like the retail environment, whatever.
Yeah.
But why? Like,
why choose that one?
Why choose that one?
No, for sure. Why? I mean, this is also makes me think of that. I'm sure plenty of people can relate to this very ordinary experience of like needing to clean your house. Okay, we all have to do it.
Everybody has to.
We hate it. I mean, I do. I mean, it is what it is. Here's one illusion that helps me not only actually do the thing, but actually kind of enjoy cleaning. I literally will put up this, now I'm calling it an illusion. That's the perfect way to refer to it. That I'm cleaning somebody else's house. I'm not doing, this is not for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, if it's for somebody else, my standards are higher. Like, and
Yep.
I'm also like enjoying the thought that I'm giving someone the opportunity to live in a clean, organized, clutter-free space. But I don't deserve
bet
it.
Tyler's like, yeah, I'm the person. I'm the fake person.
He's like, please, could you please put all these clothes away? Yeah. I'm like,
When
Exactly.
is this table going to be clear?
I know.
Just give
all
me
the
a
papers that
timeline.
I'm grading. I know. It's just my stuff's everywhere.
But
But
that,
you know what I
the
mean?
season. Tis the season.
Yeah, it's
need to be-
giving. You have to be giving, and you have to. And the thing is like the difference between it being an illusion versus a delusion is that like the illusion that I'm propping up is guided by reason. Okay, my reason, I am rational throughout this entire process in that I know that it is false that I'm cleaning someone else's house because
Right.
it's my house. But I am, with the resources of reason, intentionally and actively propping up
Yep.
this illusion, this false
Yep.
reality that this is somebody else's house that I'm cleaning. Contrast that with a delusion where truth and falsity is not something that I'm able to perceive. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I feel like a classic example there is, I mean, to take it into a not so happy direction, like a toxic, abusive relationship where truth and false, because of manipulation or gaslighting or other kinds of really nefarious tactics, like the person who is, the victim in all of this can't really tell what's true and what's false.
Right.
So
that's a
you're
delusion.
living in a delusion.
So this goes back to, one of the things she specifically talks about around illusions is love.
yeah.
And it has to do with, we kind of a little bit touched on it previously. It's this idea that you could easily presume that people love you less than they do. You could easily presume, like, I know they like me, but do they love me? But it is just as easy or optimal for your brain. She was an optimist also.
Yeah.
It really has to do with science and the world being optimal,
Yeah.
but I just love that she
Yeah.
was the first person who really used optimist as a way
Yeah.
to describe our world. But you could just as easily presume that someone loves you the most. Like they love you just as much as you love them. And it's like this eternal great love is just as likely as them being like, oh, maybe they like me sometimes, maybe they don't, like I can't really tell, like just presume it. But this is where that crossovers into delusion.
Yes.
Like where does it become? And I think that the place where one is the reasoning. Are you
Yeah.
aware of it?
Right.
Or is it
yeah.
things? But also, where does it go from pleasure to pain?
Yeah.
Where does
right.
it go from?
Totally.
It doesn't hurt anyone. Presuming that Kylie loves me the most.
This is true.
Doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt her. Like no one is being hurt in that
Exactly.
situation.
Yeah.
Maybe the cats are like,
yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah,
They're like, did I overhear that correctly?
they're plotting your demise right
But like
now.
no one's hurting that way. And so that is like no reason to break that illusion.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? I'm just going about my life being like,
Yeah.
I'm so I have such good friends that
Yes.
love me.
Yeah.
But where it would get delusional is if I showed up with all my stuff and being like, well, now I'm living with you because you love me so much.
I mean, I probably would let you.
You'd probably just be like,
so
yeah, okay.
That's why.
Okay, not a good example.
Yay,
Not a good example.
sleepover.
But this example of being in an abusive relationship, right? Like, so
Yes.
this is where it goes to pain.
Yes.
Is because you presume that this person this person loves you the most and that they're going to only do good by you.
Yeah.
And what you don't leave the delusion after they are hurting you financially, hurting you physically, hurting you whatever.
Right.
You have to be able to have the wisdom, the virtue to understand where this has crossed over from pleasure to pain.
Right.
And I think that is the danger of like drifting into this like, I love to be illusioned.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I'm full of illusion.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, we have to walk the careful, delicate balance of, not sliding into something like delusion. But I feel like one really nice, because again, like this is ultimately a not just a tool, but for Du Châtelet is saying a necessary ingredient for happiness is illusion because of all the things, right? Like it helps you to sort of deepen your, experience of pleasure in things, because why not, right? Prop up the illusion
Why not?
in this way. And so like one sort of, I think, nice prescriptive way to use illusions is to utilize illusion as a way maybe to like safeguard or like, resist against what might be this sort of ubiquitous psychological experience wherein sometimes we fall into the maybe delusion of thinking that people like don't like us or,
or that you don't belong
or that you don't belong in
whatever profession
your
you're
career.
in or
we are so susceptible to experiencing something like imposter syndrome. We're so susceptible to thinking that, other people don't like us or in fact hate us or don't want to be around us. And that, can be explained by a number of reasons.
Right.
But, it seems like by and large, that's not true.
That's you're giving yourself pain.
Yes.
That all of this doubt is bringing you pain.
Yes.
When in your mind, you could equally.
Yes.
The optimal way for your
Yeah.
brain to work and for you to experience happiness
Yeah.
is to have the illusion, the
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah.
I do belong here.
I do belong.
Obviously,
right.
I belong
I
here.
am capable.
I am brilliant.
People
I did
do
all
wanna
the
hang out with
studying.
me.
Yeah, people
Yes,
do want to hang
exactly.
out with me. I do know my business.
And it's like, I think, like Danny, you said this when we were talking before, like, it's like the idea of fake it till you make it.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly it.
That's the illusion.
That's
Faking
the
it
illusion.
is the illusion.
Right. Yeah.
Until you're like, oh, I am this. I
yeah.
do believe this.
Right.
Until it becomes pain.
Until it becomes pain.
then you'll
Or something that's like, you're like unachievable. You're like, I don't want to be an astronaut.
Yeah. You're like,
Turns out I have motion sickness.
Starting to
I
be an
get sick while I
astronaut
drive.
at 46 is not going to be
Achievable.
I may have passed.
Yeah.
I only have one eye, good eye.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I'm a little chubby. I'm definitely not going to survive that physical.
Oh my gosh.
that you have to do to be
that's super fast thing.
Yeah, the
I don't
spinny
know.
thing.
I saw that movie with the whole world in your hands.
Exactly. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I can't be the person who's floating in space and grab the wrench.
No.
I don't want to.
I don't want to. That's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. I don't want to.
I don't wanna. Well, there's lots more that you can look up about Emily, and I should not be taking her first name basis, but I feel like we're such good friends.
know, 'cause we just-
after like
I know.
like she just wants me and her.
I know.
Want to have her little attic stage full of performance.
Put it on so many fun productions.
I want to go to her science lab.
I know.
And like
I know.
just see all of her things. I love her.
One day someone will build a time machine.
And that's where I'm going. They're like, where do you want to go? And I'm like, listen, I need to go to 18th century France. And they're like, no, you don't.
Yeah. For so many reasons. No, you don't. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, but if I could be dropped off here, they're
Yeah.
like, well, all right, we'll try.
We'll try.
I'll try. So for all of you that, we started talking about this with like your work or how do illusions actually work. Yeah. So for applied philosophy this round, what we're hoping that you might do is find 3 things that you either do have illusions about or might make you experience more joy for illusions. I came up with an immediate good example, which is the belief that the Seahawks are going to make it to the Super Bowl this year. You know, it could happen.
It could happen.
There is right now. It's not like impossible right now. So right now, when we're recording this, I'm able to live within the illusion when I'm watching the game, which gives me more joy. I get more pleasure and more joy out of watching the Seahawks when I think they're going to
There's a chance.
end up in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And win it.
And win the Super Bowl.
Well, illusions. Illusions.
Illusions, Michael. Illusions.
And then do you have any examples, or do you want to just leave it to them? They can find
we'll
their
leave
own
it to you.
Okay.
From What We Gathered is brought to you with gratitude by Tyler Olson, our sound producer, editor, performance wrangler, Danny Nelson, co-host and producer, and me, co-host Kylie Shahar. A special thanks to Sam Fisher for our music, and thank you to those from whom we've gathered, our teachers, scholars, historians, lovers of wisdom, the internet, and of course, thank you, our listeners.